Good morning. Here we go. So things going nicely with the Casali accordion. The first reed block's been done on the triple side, and just working on the second reed block on the treble side. But whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to crack on with another job, which is to sort out the pallets from the treble side. So the pallets are these bits of wood which are attached to the metal arms, attached to the keys, and these pallets are covering holes in this kind of soundboard here, and the pallets have on them material to seal them so that when they push against the soundboard it's as airtight as possible. It won't be completely airtight, but it will be as airtight as possible. So it's a piece of soft leather on the face of it. Often nowadays they have a bit of felt to give it a little bit extra bit of a cushioning, but these ones just tend to be a bit of leather. So I've taken one off, and I can just show. You can see how it's all got the shape of the outline of the holes on there, and so it's leather and it's quite soft. So what I'm going to do is take these pallets off, and then I'm going to address the leather. So what I might do is either take that off, but it's quite well stuck on. I might actually just stick another soft piece onto that just to give an extra layer and to make that really nice. Now when I'm taking the pallets off, this is a really important little tip. Because they've all been put on and set with the arms, they kind of have to go back in the same order, because if you take a pallet off and just get them all off, muddle them all up, and then put them back on again, you'll find that they won't quite match up because they've kind of been set to work as they are. So my top tip from experience is when you take them off, find a way of remembering which one's which. So all I'm going to do is, as soon as I've taken one off, I'm just going to number them all, and the number's going to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all the way back along here. So when I've got them off, I know which way round they go because of the number, and also which arm they go on. So my first job is to get the pallets off and number them. And to get the pallets off, if I just shoe on these ones, there's a bit of tape. So the first thing is to get the tape off. So I just need my little blade. Just put that around like that. Just get a blade and just get the tape peeled off. Hope you can see on down here. There up, peel the tape off. So that's been on there for 80 years probably. And then to get the pallet off, what you've got to do is crack the adhesive, and I think in this case it was either a kind of glue, it might have been wax. Sometimes you can use accordion reed wax. It's probably, I don't know, it might be glue. Anyway, so if you just push the key and then grab hold of the pallet and twist it, there we are, comes off. So I'll get the pencil, this will be number 2, put that down. So that's the next job. Then I'm going to get all the pallets off, and once I've got the pallets off, you can see on the arms themselves you've got all that residue of glue, so clean all that off as well. Now it's good to do this when the reed blocks are out, because what you don't want to do is to start messing around with all of this, with all this old glue and wax, whatever, and then that starts to fall down the holes into the reed blocks. You don't really want that. So all the reed blocks are out, so that's a good time to then do the pallets. So I wouldn't do the pallets with the reed blocks in, because you're just going to get rubbish falling down into the reed blocks, and you don't want that at all really. So I'll get these off, I'll clean up the arms, and the other thing I'll do, actually, excuse me, stay there, is the pallets themselves, they're pretty mucky, so the slot on the pallet is kind of filled with the glue and it's really old. So this is where you need to get a little knife. I've got a little craft knife here, Wilkinson Special, and I'm just going to clean out those slots as well as I can, so it's nice and clean. And then once I've got all the pallets off, everything cleaned up, I'll show you how I then put a new layer on that to make it a nicer action, so softer and better seal. Okay, so that's the first little clip. I'll crack on and I'll show the next bit with all the pallets off, cleaned up, and all the arms cleaned up. And after that, then I'll just go a little clip on refacing the pallets, and that will be that job sorted out. Okay, so better crack on. Good morning. Right, so next little step. I've cleaned up all the pallets. So I've cleaned up the slots, sanded them. That's all perfect. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue an extra layer of soft leather onto the pallet. So I've decided, because the leather's in quite nice shape really, it's still fairly soft, and it's stuck on well, I'm going to leave that on, and then I'm going to put another layer onto the pallet. Now this leather is really lovely, soft leather, quite thin, but it's really nice quality. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick the pallets onto this. I'm going to use some high-tack all-purpose craft glue. It's kind of a PVA glue. It is a PVA glue actually, so you can use it for wood and fabrics and stuff, but it just works really well. So high-tack craft glue. So I've got a bit of that in my pot, a little brush, and I really like this process because you can just get a really nice job. It has a good effect on the pallets, so it's nice. Just get some good quality leather and you're good to go. So I'll just show you a little bit. I've got a massive brush for some reason, I don't know why it's quite so long. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to get my leather ready, and then I'm going to make sure the leather's nice and clean. Got a nice flat surface to put the leather on, just like here. Make sure it's got no bits on it. There we go. And I'll take my first pallet, a little bit of high-tack glue, nice even coat, and make sure you get right to the corners, because you don't want the corners lifting up. And then I'm going to put it as carefully as I can up to the edge of the leather, simply because I don't want to waste any leather. It's quite expensive, so I'm going to try and put them as neat as I can onto that leather so that I'm not wasting any. And then once I've got it stuck or pushed down, I'll put a weight on the top just to hold it down, and then leave it for a couple of hours. So there we are. So I won't bore everybody to death with watching this next bit because it's quite repetitive. So I'll just carry on gluing these pallets onto the leather, and I'll show you what I've done in a sec. Okay, so I have glued all the pallets onto the leather on a nice flat surface. So what I'm going to do now, leave that glue for a couple of hours. It's got a nice bit of wood. Just going to rest that on the top. And I'm just going to put some extra weight on the top, some books. Just balance it all up. There we go. So I'll leave that for a couple of hours, and then hopefully take it all off, and there'll be nice adhesion of the leather onto the pallets, and then I'll show you how I cut them out and fix them back onto the arms of the keys. Okay, there we are. Okay, so the pallets have had time to kind of dry and be pushed onto the leather. Oh, one little other thing, little tip for cleaning out the glue and wax on the pallets before you can stick the pallets back onto the arms. The little blade on the Swiss Army knife that's used for getting horses, stones out of horses' shoes or feet. Never ever used it for anything like that, but anyway, that little blade there is perfect for cleaning out these pallet grooves. So there we go. I bet you didn't know that. Right, so the next step is to carefully, with a very sharp craft knife, just simply cut around the pallets. So I'm going to cut around them, and when I've cut them out, I'm actually going to go around again with the craft knife and get that leather as close to the edge as I can, so I've got a really nice, neat finish. So I just cut those out, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. Oh, turn around the way. So I got onto the bit now where I'm going to put the pallets back onto the metal arms. So I'm going to start with, I'll just around the inside row, because they're the trickiest to get on, and I'll stick those on, and then I'll stick the outside row on. And so I've put them in order because I numbered them, and pushed the arms fully down into the grooves. And so the next thing is I'm going to carefully hot glue and put a little dab on each arm going along for the inside line of pallets. Excuse me. And I'll do the same thing for the outside line. So I'll just do one. And I've got a little cloth here just to help with the mess. Just move those out of the way. So I'm going to push down. I don't know if you can see this. Hang on. I'm going to push down on the key to clear the inside pallet. There we go. That one's done. Push down on the key. Done. So I just go along and I hot glue, and I'll show you what I've done at the end. There we go. So I've put the pallets are glued on. There we are. All good. And I've actually put the accordion back together for a bit just to see how it looks. So happy with that. So the pallets are nicely on, hot glued on, all seems to work really well. So I'll leave that for the time being, and I'll get on with the more reed work, and then after that I think I might be having a look at the pallets on the base side. Okay, so I'll leave that just for now though. So I just had a little thought. I just put I've only done one of the reed blocks on the treble side. I haven't done the black notes yet, but I've done the white ones. I thought, oh, I'll just put that reed block in and just put the accordion back together, and just to see what it sounds like. So the compression isn't great at the moment, so I haven't done the pallets on the base side, haven't done the bellows gasket, haven't checked the bellows for little leaks, and I haven't tuned anything, but I just thought I'd give it a blast, and actually it sounds alright. So that sounds nice. It's got that vintage sound, that kind of it has got that vintage accordion sound, which I really like. Now the bass side, I haven't done anything to the bass, so it really sounds awful. So I'll just show you what the bass sounds like. That's what a bass sounds like, and that's what the treble sounded like when I first got it, and now it sounds like. So that's what it's like now. It's not finished by any means, but I just thought it'd be fun to give a little bit of a test, see where on earth have we got to, or wherever have I got to. Anyway, so there we are. So I'll keep cracking on, but that's the end, definitely the end of this video now. I'm not going to do any more for this particular one. Okay, thank you.